Hey everybody, welcome back to the Woody Hayes Athletic Center. This is a rapid reaction brought to you by Byers Auto. That's Tim May, that's Jeremy Birmingham, I'm Austin Ward. For the first time since the Fiesta Bowl, we have heard from Ryan Day. And as Ohio State tries to turn the page and get over this loss, and Tim, no surprise, they really aren't over it. And I'm not sure Ryan Day ever wants them to get rid of that feeling that they felt in Phoenix.
No, it's funny because he made a point of you got to turn the page, you got to get past it. Well, then he talked about how he still has a knot in his stomach occasionally, can't eat solid food on occasion. And this is one, like we talked about this in the post game that night when all the confetti's flying and we're yelling at the guys for sweeping, in fact, you will never get over this totally because it was right there. And in some respects, you dropped it, and in some respects, it was pulled out of your back pocket by a thief.
Yeah.
So you never get over that kind of feeling, I don't believe.
Yeah. You remember, 14 years ago now, Ohio State lost to Florida 41-14 in the national championship game, and all the door codes changed to 41-14. Like this game, that Clemson game, that 29-23 is going to be burned into people's heads. It may not be the door code around here. You may not see T-shirts about it. It may not be written on the floor in the weight room. But like that is going to be the defining moment of Ryan Day's career as far as what goes on from here. How does this program bounce back? And he said that they didn't talk about the fumble at the AFCA convention. Said that they did talk about targeting, but like it's not out of his system, and you can just tell it's teeming under the surface.
Yeah, there's a lot of things to tackle there. First of all, he's really not in a position to go take on the replay refs within 2 weeks when he's so upset about it. I think that there are other games that certainly happened during just the bowl season that I watched where you saw complete debacles by the replay system.
Yes.
That will come up. But again, he's also not the only one that had to deal with suspect targeting rules, and that again happened to Clemson on Monday night. They had the shoe on the other foot, and I think everyone is starting to realize that the way that rule is written is a problem. So,
well, like you said on my podcast too, they not only had to deal with that, they had a touchdown taken off the board, just like Ohio State did. I mean, the pass interference call, the offensive pass interference call, that was a huge play in that game because if they had any shot at coming back and beating LSU, they needed that play. So
yeah, Birm was really broken up about that. That poor Dabo had to deal with that, and the disrespect. Gosh, it's so unfortunate.
Little old Clemson will be back though.
But here's the other thing I wanted to get into with that, Birm, because you talked about the codes in 41-14. There is a danger that at some point you only let that game infect your mentality and become your obsession. Like to borrow what some other school did. If you have a revenge tour and sometimes it doesn't work, then what are you playing for? Like 2020 needs to be its own thing.
And the 41-14 actually didn't work for them because the next year they went and played LSU in the national championship game. By hook or crook, they got there. Same thing with LSU, and the outcome was a little closer, but it was still a loss. I mean, bottom line is like, Ryan made a great point today that everybody forgets about college football, and we get wrapped up in postseason and preseason polls, which there's some already out right now, some forecasts and stuff. It's all based on what you just saw. It's not based on this brand new team that's going to take the field for Clemson next year and for Ohio State. I mean, Ohio State's got a lot of huge holes.
15% of the roster at Ohio State just got on campus 10 days ago.
Right,
like
exactly.
That's ridiculous.
And I think it's going to all click like it did this year. It's all going, what should be better next year is going to be the quarterback. He's going to be better than he was. Running back, they're losing a huge player. Defensive backfield, they're losing 3 huge players. I mean, right on down the line, the shoes they have to fill are enormous.
That's why it's so important. I think you talked about 10% of the roster. I mean, 66% of probably what the wide receiver rotation is going to be. They're just getting started here with Brian Hartline.
Really, you think it'll be that much? 2/3?
I mean, it's tell me how they're not in the mix.
We have all spring to talk about it, but my assumption is that receivers 3 through 6 are true freshmen.
Well, that'll be 50% then. Yeah, but go ahead. Though.
3, 4, 5, and 6.
3, 4, 5, and 6.
Oh, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I just said 4, 5, and 6.
Boy, we are really confusing this year.
I'm sorry, man.
You can tell we're out of practice.
We have all spring to talk about.
Yeah, we haven't been in the Woody for a while, so our rapid reactions brought to you by Byers Auto. A little shaky so far.
Dulled reaction.
We're trying
over here and be quiet.
We're trying to get back in the flow, but the couple things continue to be as this offseason starts. You got to complete the coaching staff. They're halfway done with that. Cory Dennis Birm is officially confirmed as the quarterback's coach, and you had a couple questions for him that some pertain directly to the way he'll recruit, and some is he's inheriting C.J. Stroud and Jack Miller in that big-time battle, and then obviously the Heisman Trophy finalist. This is a major hire. Even if you look at the pecking order 1 through 10 of the staff, you might think quarterbacks is relatively low because Ryan Day has his own impact on it. But Cory Dennis is going to be a key cog here.
But and Ryan Day today made it a point to mention Kevin Wilson's name multiple times, and I don't think that's an accident. I think it's important for Ohio State fans to understand that just behind Ryan Day in the hierarchy of the offense, and not far behind him, is Kevin Wilson. And Ryan Day even talked that Wilson may end up sharing play calling duties with him in 2020. Kevin Wilson and Ryan Day are going to be 2/3 of a holy quarterback triangle working with these guys. Okay, so Cory Dennis is very young. He's obviously talented and respected amongst his peers for the work he's done here in the last 4 years that he's been at Ohio State. But as Ryan Day alluded to, this isn't a position he would be giving to someone else in that inexperienced mold if it wasn't in that quarterback room where he knew that Day and Wilson will be there.
But I'm not sure. That came up during the press conference. Doug Lamarice was asking. Ohio State had just gone through this with another key position on offense at wide receiver. Brian Hartline didn't have any full-time coaching experience. He was a quality control guy. He'd never run his own room. And then had that opportunity. So it's not like this is an unheard of move.
A little different. Hartline came from the NFL and had 7 years of professional experience.
But that's true. He did have that position. But Cory Dennis isn't coming to this off the street where he did it for 1 year. He's been working under Ryan Day for 3 years.
Hey, did you notice my patience there where I waited for y'all?
Yeah, you're in. You can tag in.
New year, new you.
Yeah, new me. Yeah, exactly. I'm trying not to talk with my hands, but the grip here is death grip. Bottom line is, Cory Dennis has worked elbow to elbow with Ryan Day for 3 years now. It's almost like a quarterback coach made in his own image, if you follow my drift. Number 3, who knows Cory Dennis better than Ryan Day? I mean, from what he brings to the table, what he offers, what he can bring. Yeah. Has he helped run a wide open offense in the Big 12? No. Did he work in the NFL like Ryan Day did? No. But the bottom line is he's been around him more than anybody. He knows what he brings to the table from an intelligence standpoint, from a teaching standpoint, from a being all in on the scheme standpoint, like he pointed out.
And the culture.
Exactly, the culture, but not coming in with, well, we didn't do it this way at this place. We did it this way. We read this way. Ryan Day, more and more, is putting his stamp on this program from the standpoint of he wants it done the Ryan Day way, and with input. But the other thing he knows about Cory Dennis more than anything else is he knows his IQ, his intelligence quotient, because he's been around him and stuff. He expects him to contribute, but why remake a guy? Why go out and spend $300,000 looking for somebody when you think that guy's right here? That's the point.
And I don't mean to suggest that there is zero element of risk, as Doug was getting out with that line of questioning, as he and Ryan Day talked about that during the press conference this afternoon. I mean, there is some. The guy hasn't done it before. He could have had the opportunity to go to Colorado State and get that experience, and then you bring him back later.
He was going to Colorado State.
Well, yeah, he was already out the door. That was going to happen. So I don't mean to take any exception with that, because I think there is an element that there is a little bit of risk when you you don't know what's going to happen fully when somebody gets that job the first time. It's going to be
mainly on the recruiting trail more than anything else.
But there's also a risk. There's also a risk that we saw with Mike Yurcich of this guy is here for 1 year and gone. And Ryan Day hammered the point multiple times today. Cory Dennis is going to be here for a couple of years, and it almost seemed like he was already looking at like a 5 or 6, 7 year plan for him, because he's like, if you're here, if a quarterback signs with you, he's going to be here through your whole career, and that's something that is just rare anymore, and that's one of the perks of hiring a young guy that's unproven.
I'll tell you what, though, I want to get an FOIA in real quick on his contract. Did he sign a 5-6 year contract? I mean,
I would doubt that.
Talk about unprecedented.
Well, he had to get more than one. I think the other thing you can read between the lines, what Tim was alluding to with what Ryan Day said with Yurcich. I mean, if you don't think that this was a mutually beneficial move for Ohio State, all you needed was that list of things where there was clearly a disagreement with the way the quarterbacks wanted to be taught or were going to be taught, or it was different than what Ryan Day wanted. those are some of the key takeaways here. We got a lot more coverage coming as we dive into Ryan Day's full 45-minute press conference on LettermenRow.com. We'll all have stories. We'll have more video analysis coming throughout the week. As the offseason, there's no such thing as Lettermen Row when it comes to Ohio State football coverage. That's Tim May. That's Jeremy Birmingham. I'm Austin Ward. This has been Rapid Reaction, brought to you by Byers Auto. We will see you next time.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe below to get the latest videos from Lettermen Row.
We got Letterman Live. We've got the practice report. We got Rapid Reaction. Hey, and you know we got Buckeye IQ with Zach Bourne.
For sure. We got recruiting breakdowns with Birm. We got whatever you need. Ohio State football and Ohio State athletics, we've got you covered here at Lettermen Row.